this is what you see when you open Emacs from Finder. I can't really do that because QuickTime interferes with starting up a new program. But the Emacs tutorial will get you basically familiar with Emacs, but you need to understand why you need to be familiar with Emacs, which is a program that was invented in 1976, before most of the teachers in the program, let alone the students, were born. Emacs is an editor, and there's a big difference between an editor and a word processor. Editor writes text to a file. Word processor writes text and formatting, and those formatting characters can be interpreted by different programs, and so you don't program in a word processor. Most of you have already taken enough computer science that you know that. But you have probably used things like Eclipse, which are integrated development environments specifically geared towards one or two languages. Emacs is a program that can handle as many different languages that are spoken on your computer. And you should think of your computer like the United Nations. There's a dozen different languages here that are all being translated and interpreted. And if you want something that's flexible enough to deal with all of them, Emacs is really the only answer. You're also much more likely to use Emacs if you're a data scientist. So I want you to be basically familiar with this. You can also use it for system administration. You can use it to SSH into various different systems. There's a tremendous amount of possibilities. And so we're just going to get started with some very basic ones. So after you open Emacs, if you go into the cursor, which is called the point, is right on the Emacs tutorial. We're going to go through that. So you hit return, and you see the little arrow there. You're going to be able to see everything that I type by watching that lower left-hand corner. Emacs have the control key. Sometimes the control key is labeled CTRL or CTL, or the meta key. On the meta, don't worry about that. Just think of meta as alt. Meta is the prefix usually for commands. And the bindings that you're going to learn actually also work on the command line. So C dash means hold the control key and then the next key. Meta dash and then the character means hold the meta and that. Those are called key chords, and they can be very uncomfortable for people who haven't done this before. And so, but the payoff is that the more you keep your hands on the machine, the faster you can go when you're typing, when you're doing all the things. Now we're going to view the next screen by pressing Control V. And so that moves us one screen ahead. If we want to go back a screen, we do Alt V or Meta V. And that slash with a dash is just the Alt key, the way it's represented on Mac. If we want to take the text that we're looking at and move it to the middle of the page, so I'm going to move the cursor up to, I can use Control L to move that to the middle of the page. All right? Now I'm going to go down to the next command. So if we want to do basic cursor control, all right, I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to use the arrow to go down, but we'll soon see another way. If I want to move to a specific point on there, I can use Control B or Control F to move forward or backward one cursor position, and I can move to the previous and the next line by Control P and Control N. So let's show this. Okay, so Control F moves me forward. Control B moves me back. Control P moves to the previous line. Control N moves to the next line. Obviously, I can repeat these. Now I'm going to move forward one more screen. And remember, you will get a reference card so that you have all of these. You'll memorize them very quickly. Now, if we want to move forward one word, right, we can use the Alt F. So now I'm moving forward one word at a time. The opposite, move back a word. Okay, so we did some Alt Fs and some Alt Bs. Now we're going to use Control V to move ahead one more screen. Okay. So if we want to move to the beginning of a line, we can do Control A, and the end of a line, Control E. This will work in the terminal as well. If we go back to the beginning, Control A, and now we do Alt A, Alt E, takes us to the end of the sentence. Alt A takes us to the beginning of the sentence. So you'll see that sometimes controls will work on lines and alts will work on a language unit. So if I do Control D, it'll delete one character. If I do Alt D, it'll delete one word. Okay. So I'm going to move forward another. So this is the basic moving back and forth, and just because I want to make this video short, I'm going to stop here and continue.